Well, it has been said that the only two things in life that are certain are taxes and death. That's not really true, because a lot of people get away without paying taxes. They still die. The late Arthur Godfrey, some of you are old enough to remember him. He used to say that he is a proud tax-paying American, but he'd be just as proud for half the money. Look, I understand the need for taxes. I really do. I was a governor for almost 11 years and lieutenant governor before that. We had to have tax revenue to run the schools, run the prisons, take care of health care, roads, the state police, and a whole lot more. I'm not against taxes. I'm just against them being wasted. I'm against them being used to reward political friends and to punish political enemies. I'm against them being taken for one purpose and then used for another purpose. If a government undertaxes, there won't be enough basic government services that people really do want, like police and fire departments, jails to lock up bad criminals, even human predators. And there won't be enough money to provide for roads and bridges and airports and parks. But on the other hand, if a government taxes too much, then businesses charge more for the products and services to pay those extra taxes. And that means people have to pay more for everything they buy. That means there is less money in their pockets to spend according to what's important to them and to their families, and more for politicians to spend on what's good for their political careers or for their friends. Now, does anyone think that's a good use of your money? No. And Washington politicians can spend any amount they like, because while you have to balance your budget, they don't. I mean, even the states are required by law to have a balanced budget, but not the federal government. They spend until there is no more money, and then they borrow as if there is no tomorrow. And then they print more money as if it's just paper. That insanity is what led me to join the efforts and serve on the board of the Balanced Budget Amendment Committee. It's a group of both Democrats and Republicans and business people who are working to amend the U.S. Constitution so that the federal government would be required to balance its budget just like states do and like you do in your home or in your business. Now, it was originally launched by President Reagan back in the 80s, kind of dried on the vine for a while, and then was restarted just a few years ago, and it now has 27 states of the 34 necessary for the legislatures in those states to call for a constitutional amendment to balance the budget. Now, some of my fellow board members include former governors like George Allen of Virginia and Scott Walker of Wisconsin, because we all understand that if Congress doesn't have to live within its means, it never will. And we think it's time they did. So I say, let your congressman and your senator know that you want them to live by the rules that you have to live by. Because you don't mind paying your taxes, but you don't want to pay for your government to have caviar while you're eating cornbread. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.